Hello everyone, my name is Elle and thank you so much for joining me today. I thought it would be fun to chat about some of the products that I have repurchased more than one time. 4 out of these 5 products I have lost track of how many times I've repurchased them, and one of them I know was 3 times, and that is the Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector. This is my 3rd one, as I said, and I already have a really decent dip in it. I love this under eye corrector. This is the best one I have tried so far, obviously, because I keep going back to it. So I just apply it underneath my eye area, sometimes a little bit in here and on the outer bits too, because my darkness tends to be concentrated on the inner and outer corner as opposed to just the middle of my under eye section. Usually when you see people do color correcting, it tends to be like just the middle, but I find that if I do just the middle, I just don't cover all of the darkness. So this is a pinky peach color. It works to correct the sort of blue-ish under eyes I have. They're not very dark, but it's just enough that I've noticed it peeks through underneath foundation, and since I started using this, I have not needed to pile on under eye concealer because this stuff just covers it up on its own. So that's easily one of my favorite products that I can't imagine living without. The second thing that I've lost track of how many times I've purchased it is the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion. This is the original. I usually purchase the original. I've bought some of the tinted ones before. I've bought the anti-aging one before, but I keep going back to the original. Recently, I did try the Wet n Wild eyeshadow primer and I finished that one and I did really like it. I just find that the Urban Decay one keeps my eyeshadow in place longer. I don't experience creasing. I just can get a full day's wear out of my eyeshadow, which is what I need because I work basically a 9-to-5 job, so I need products that are going to really last. So this guy, they recently changed the packaging, so it has a doe foot applicator now. I'm not crazy about the doe foot. I don't mind it, but I often find myself just squeezing the tube to squeeze a little bit of product out, and I will put it all over my eye, sometimes up into my brows because it will help my brow product stay on longer as well, and I will put a little bit on the lower lash line. And if I'm going to do a eyeshadow look that's more like blown out, anything that involves eyeshadow going beyond just where my lid ends, I will put primer there too, just because it helps the shadow last longer. It really is a great product that changed my life because I have really oily eyelids, and previously to discovering eyeshadow primers, my eye makeup would disappear within a few hours. So by the end of the day, it was like I had no eye makeup on at all. I often had to carry around eyeliner because, well, it was the days of like rimming your eyes in black eyeliner, but I would have to carry it around with me if I wanted to touch up because it just was not lasting. So I'd be going through black eyeliners like crazy. So I love eyeshadow primers. If you have a problem with your eyeshadow not lasting, I would definitely recommend getting a sample of an eyeshadow primer, and I would definitely recommend the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion. All these things that I'm talking about, these 5 products, are things that I would definitely recommend, but something to remember, and a little disclaimer, is that just because it works so well for me, because I really love it, it might not work for you. And that's just the way things go. We all have different skin types, we have different skin needs, we have different skin textures. Something I've heard now and then, not necessarily about myself, but about other people as well, is that someone must be lying if they recommend a product that doesn't work for you. Sometimes that might be true, but other times, you know, you just have a different preference. So just something to keep in mind. So the next 2 things are setting sprays, the MAC Fix Plus and the Urban Decay All Nighter. So the first thing I'll talk about is Fix Plus because I actually really am going to need a new one pretty soon, so I'll be repurchasing this again. I use this a few different ways. The first way I use this spray is to foil my eyeshadows because usually just plain water doesn't do the trick. This is special, and this really helps my eyeshadow last longer as well. So when I pair the Fix Plus with the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion, I've got eyeshadow that's gonna last as long as I want it to, you know, until I take it off. So I don't use it with matte eyeshadows, I only use it with glitters, sometimes shimmer, basically things that look metallic or could be metallic, the things that you might swatch on your hand and they look beautiful, but you can't get that pigmentation on your lid because you just can't press hard enough. Fix Plus really, really works for that. Sometimes I spray a little bit on my face to intensify my highlight. It's extra, and I don't usually do it that often, but sometimes when I'm filming, depending on the look I'm going for, if I really want something really intense, wet looking thing, I will apply a little bit of highlight, spray Fix Plus, apply more highlight, and you get really pigmented effect. Very similar to eyeshadows, but it's different because you're diffusing the highlighter a little bit more so that it's not just a stripe on your face. I know I have done that. I will continue to do that. I love my highlighter, but it's a little bit of a different thing. And then I use it to set my face. So I will link down below in the description box a really interesting thread that I read on Reddit, which talks about the difference between the like a setting spray and a fixing spray. And actually in this sort of article, the person talks about how something like All Nighter is a fixing spray and Fix Plus, oddly enough, is a setting spray. And the way that they described it is that it's like merging all the layers together. So if you've ever used something like Photoshop, you know, when you're merging everything together, that's what Fix Plus is like. So I love it because it takes away that powderiness. It really just sort of blends everything together and makes it look more natural, like it's supposed to be on your face, not like it's makeup. Because sometimes when you see people with a lot of makeup on their face, it looks like it's sitting on top of their face. But with Fix Plus, I find that it really fuses everything together, and you can't really see the separation between like your skin and your makeup. It just looks really good. So I tend to use it that way. Like I'll use it first and then I'll follow it with the All Nighter, but sometimes I will just use it on its own depending on what my day is like. The All Nighter, another product I've repurchased so many times. I've recommended this to so many people and so many people have ended up loving it. Everyone from like my friends to my mother to other people I talk to here on YouTube. It's just such a good product for keeping your makeup on, and it doesn't budge. Like this is truly a setting spray that will last through anything. And I find the combination of Fix Plus and All Nighter so wonderful because you get that sort of fresh look with Fix Plus, and then All Nighter sets everything in place. And I mean, I've taken naps, I've fallen asleep with my makeup on, woken up with it looking amazing because of Fix Plus. Not a good idea to sleep in your makeup, but I have done it just because there's been times when I've been so exhausted and you wake up and it's like, your makeup looks incredible. So this is a product I've become very impressed with. It's funny because most of these things appeared in project pans very early on. If you were to go back and see like my very first project pan, I had put this in there because I didn't like it. And it was through panning that I discovered how well it works and how I just cannot live without it. I mean, I have not been without the Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray for 4 years now. Like I just always have one on hand, always. It's the kind of product that I will buy backups of because I know I love it that much and I'm just not interested in trying anything else. And the last thing, which should come as no surprise to anybody unless you are brand new to my channel, in which case, welcome, I'm very happy to see you here. But anybody who's been here for more than a day should know about my obsession with the Urban Decay Naked Skin Foundation. This is my favorite foundation of all time. I'm in the shade 0.5. It's a perfect color match for me. This is my 6th, 7th bottle of foundation. I can't really remember. I'd have to go back and check all of my empties because I bought this like the second it was released and I've been repurchasing it ever since. So it is a light to medium coverage foundation. You can build it up or sheer it out as needed. I tend to build it up slightly to that medium coverage. It's not cakey, it just looks like your skin but better. That's why I love it so much, because it really does work magic for my skin. My skin is normally combination, like normal oily. Right now it's more dry, but this stuff still works. This has worked when my skin has been all over the place. When my skin is more oily, when my skin is more dry, it works. I just sort of switch up the primer I use. If I'm experiencing more oiliness than normal, I'll use a more mattifying primer. If my skin is dry, I use a hydrating primer, and this works wonderfully. I mean, I've bought all these things so many times, so I really truly do love them. I know a few people have told me they've gotten samples of the Naked Skin foundation and not like it, so I can't say that it's the perfect foundation for everyone. It's just from my experience with my weird combo skin, it's worked in all situations and I keep going back to it. I bought this fairly recently too, a couple months ago, and it's already about halfway gone because this is the foundation I tend to reach for when I film because it it's that perfect skin thing. And with a few other products, like you just have that perfect, like poreless looking skin. It's incredible. I love taking pictures with that on as well. I don't get flashback or anything like that. It just looks like you have good skin. So I know these are kind of basic products, but they are products that I've repurchased many, many times and things that I really love using. So I just wanted to take a few moments to talk about those things because project panning using up products is really fun, but it's also really fun when you find those things that you really love. When you find those holy grail products, it's something to celebrate. So let me know what your favorite products are in the comments down below. What have you repurchased more than once? If you have any staple products that you just keep going back to, let me know. I'm really curious. And if you've used any of these products that I love, let me know what you think. And if you disagree with me, if there's something that you've tried and it does not work for you, leave it in the comments. Share like your skin type or something like that so that maybe we can help some people out who might be interested in trying these things. I always recommend getting another opinion. Don't buy solely based off of someone else's thoughts and feelings. Do your research if you are really interested and figure out if it's something that truly would work for you. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day and I hope I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.